I have just finished reading the Crime and Punishment book by Dostoyevsky, and I want to urge all of you to also read it because it shows us that ultimately we need faith in life. That to hurt one person is to hurt all of humanity. That no amount of intellectual wizardry can justify the hurting and killing of a person. There is no way you can justify that. You saw that's exactly what Stalin tried to do in Russia. That's what King Mao tried to do in China and did exactly that to a great extent. They tried to justify the killing of people on some theoretical academic scriptures. And Raskolnikov tries to do exactly that. But after he commits the crime of killing two rich old women, from that moment on, there was something inside him which pricked him. There was something inside him which wouldn't let him sleep. There was something inside him which wouldn't let him rest. And it kept pricking him until he had to surrender to the police and confess to the police that he was the one who had committed the crime. The beauty of the book is that even until the end, Raskolnikov doesn't exactly understand what exactly is it that he has done. What exactly is in what he has done that is so barbarous, that is so unacceptable. He's not able to articulate it exactly. The people around him, especially Sonia and Dunya, the sister, and Sonia, the you can say the lover, they are able to see the inexpressible crime of killing someone, no matter what justifications you may have. But he himself was not able to, even until the end, exactly articulate why it was so unacceptable. And that's the beauty of Dostoevsky. Great art, especially great novels, always should depict and not tell us through dramatic action. They must depict some philosophical idea or some vision of the author. And that's exactly what Crime and Punishment tried to do. It went really deep into each character. There aren't many characters, you know. I believe there are only like 7 or 8 characters, and even amongst them, just 2 or 3 of them are the major ones. Raskolnikov, of course, being the protagonist. But the way his suffering is shown, the way Sonia's compassion is shown towards him, at one point in the book, she says, "Go to the crossroads and bow down to the people and kiss the ground, for you have sinned against the people and the ground too." Of course, it hits us. The symbolism of the crossroads is not missing on us. We are not oblivious to it. We understand the vision of the author, and the vision of the author is that religion is something very personal, it's something very beautiful. Religion is something that serves a social role. It's not useless, no matter what the anarchists or the radical leftists would try to tell us. But religion, faith, spirituality, the church play a very important role for the civilization and for the well being and decency of a society. At the starting of the book, Raskolnikov does not believe in it, does not believe in religion. He's an atheist and he's under the influence of nefarious left wing radical rational philosophies of his time. And it's like he is under the intoxication of such philosophies, such nihilistic philosophies, which drive him to do this barbarous act. But thereupon, there is something inside him, call it conscience, call it consciousness, or the God particle, or the divinity, that has seen, even though nobody else has seen, and there is not enough evidence to incriminate him, yet there is something inside him that has seen the crime and that wouldn't let him rest. Over the course of 400 pages, you see him deteriorating, you see him losing his vitality. He becomes a vagabond, homeless, loveless, spiritually starved human being, uprooted from everywhere. And his conscience wouldn't let him rest until he is compelled by his conscience to surrender to the police and to confess, just as Sonia had said earlier in the book, that he was the one. who had killed the two old women. You know, if there is someone who does not believe in God, or not God in the sense of an idol, but God in the sense of principles, God in the sense of a way of life, God in the sense of ideas, values, virtues, decency, it turns you towards that kind of ideal, you know. And Dostoevsky himself had undergone a lot of suffering. He had undergone many years of servile hard labor in a camp. And that's exactly the punishment that waits for Dostoevsky's, this protagonist, Raskolnikov. After he confesses to the crime, he is sent to Siberia for 8 years of hard labor. But the book ends on a positive note. He falls down to his knees and hugs the legs of Sonia because she's the one who's there for him. She's the caregiver, she's the safe space for him. And the book closes with a promising future for both of them. But of course, until that time, he has to stay in the camp for 7 more years and do the hard labor. This book has affected me deeply because there are times when you go through hard moments. There are times when you are not having fun in life, when you are misunderstood. I'm not going through such a time, but I have been through such a time in the past. So I know what it feels like to be unloved, to be completely uprooted, homeless, a vagabond, devoid of not just a home or friends, but also a guiding spirit. And that guiding spirit is Christianity for Dostoevsky, but for depending on who you are, what your religion is, that guiding principle can be your own religion. And that's the point of Dostoevsky. He wants the people of Russia to awaken to the nihilistic, completely scientific, completely empirical, dry, rationalistic philosophy to life. For Dostoevsky, such an existence, such a supremely, extremely dry, logical, factual, empirical existence is not good. It's not life sustaining. It doesn't have the compassion enough. It doesn't have enough emotion or compassion or love in it to sustain a human being. And that's exactly what is slowly killing Raskolnikov until he abides by the principles of Sonia. And then in nearly one of the last pages of the book, you see him even reading the Bible that Sonia, who by the way, Sonia is not some great, philosopher or a sermonizer. No, she's a prostitute. And that's the beauty of the book. When no one understands Raskolnikov, no one is there to offer him comfort, compassion. It is Sonia, the one who herself has been on the receiving end of the people's judgments. She's the one who's there for him, and she's the one who gives him the Bible. She's the one who brings him letters and who will apparently be with him after he's released from the prison. This is a beautiful book because in these times of 2023, when we are rootless, when we are adrift, when the children are under the sway of drugs, of video games, when people are unwilling to commit, when young adults, are lost in momentary pleasures, a lesson in rootedness, a lesson in love, compassion, religion, transcendental values, virtues is very timely. And therefore, I believe even in 2023, crime and punishment can truly melt something inside you. It can soften you up from the inside and make you a better human being and make you see the value of the tried and tested religions. You know, thank you for listening to me and go ahead, read the book. I read the book on my Kindle. Read the book wherever you are. It's a very long book. It took me over 60 or 65 days to read this 660 pages, but it was worth it. And you should also read it. Ladies and gentlemen, Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment. Thank you.